This is a content warning. This is a trigger warning. You have now tuned in to Hard Knock Logic Podcast. If you are listening to this podcast at work or around children, I suggest your ass put on headphones.
I'm always going to have fear skepticism. I can't force myself to see contradiction when reality tells me otherwise.
And nowhere and at no time are we trained how to turn a fact into knowledge, knowledge into wisdom, and wisdom into insight.
I'm always going to have fear skepticism.
One of the great challenges in life is knowing enough to think you're right, but not enough to know you're wrong.
I'm always going to have fear skepticism.
If we are going to emerge as adults, no longer susceptible to charlatans.
Yes.
Okay? Who are either well-meaning and just misguided, or who are explicitly exploiting your ignorance.
I can't force myself to see contradiction when reality tells me otherwise.
Welcome to Hard Knock Logic Podcast. I got D and Lady T in here, and we just gonna kind of jump right into these topics. Before we started recording, I was kind of making a parallel between Trump and Hitler, and not really why everybody else makes that correlation. You know, they really make that connection because of how evil people think Trump is and how evil people think Hitler is. But when it really comes down to it, I'm more speaking upon the parallel in the rise to power and the parallel in the political tactics. You know what I'm saying? Like, one of the things I was saying before we started recording is that with Trump, you have over 40 years of a solidified brand that is, when he jumped into politics to run, there were things that were just really synonymous with him. You know what I mean? And he was able to rally a base of just poor ass fucking people that are really kind of fed up. And that was really the same thing that was happening in Germany. They was in such financial ruin. They were having this influx of immigrants, and he was able to kind of rally up the people and go, this is our way to economic prosperity, and this is the direction that we should go. And then he hit a certain point, and that's when he was like, they're directly the problem. They're not real Germans. We need to get rid of them. And when you look at how much poverty and how deep the poverty was in Germany at the time, you had these people in dire straits going, yeah, fuck it, it's them, it's their fault. When you look at like the Rust Belt and the coal miners and all of these people that really rallied behind Trump, they were really in the same sentiment. Whole industries that they relied upon for jobs for their whole life until they're retired are gone. We have moved them out of this country. And matter of fact, more than moved them out of the country, because more than 50% of them didn't really move out of the country. They were automated. You know, robots and assembly lines and shit like that. So they were, you know, as human beings, we always look for somebody to blame. You know what I'm saying? Trump was able to kind of rally these people and blame somebody. And not only that, but you always have, in the 48 Laws of Power, it breaks it down, to really rally a group of people, a society, a town, a country, you have to have a us versus them. Everything in our society and everything in just human social interaction is always about an us versus them. Anytime you can create an enemy, you can rally people together. Period. He did that with fucking Mexicans, and he did that with Middle Eastern people like Muslims and ISIS and shit like that. Now the difference is, Hitler really only had one group of people that he was pointing a finger at. Even though
he did,
it was homosexuals and all of these other people that kind of, but they were such a minority in the whole equation, right? Mm-hmm. So the amount of like natural born Aryan Jews that were homosexual that was in concentration camps was very minute compared to the Jews that were there. Now with Trump, he has multiple enemies, which means he can grab a tighter grip on his base because he can put enemies all around them. And when you do that, people look for you as the way out. That's why I say everything is a fucking stage. It's all politics. Everything from our government and Congress to your fucking job to even family. You know what I'm saying? Even when you look at a family structure that has more than 5 or 6 people, like a mom, a dad, a whole bunch of siblings, aunties, uncles, and cousins, you see politics played out in that. You see the basic primate politics played out. Especially, I got a whole bunch of brothers. The physical domination and all that shit and age, you watch that create a hierarchy in your house. And then you watch a father try to struggle to stay on top of that fucking hierarchy. But you got boys, like I got 4 sons. There are times I gotta smash kind of extra hard on mine because they all boys. And as each one go through puberty, I gotta bust your motherfucking ass to let you know I'm your father. I run this shit. You don't run shit until you go out into the world on your own. Once you're out in the world on your own, then you can do whatever the fuck you want to do. While you're here, you're mine, you belong to me, I'm responsible for you, and you do what the fuck I say, and that's it. I have to be the alpha in the situation. That's just the politics of human beings. Which is strange now that I'm in the Northwest and this is such a beta environment. You have more alpha females than males. I'm not really used to that. That's kind of crazy. Just softness. But, you know.
That's funny you gonna say that because, can you hear me okay?
Oh, yeah.
Turn me up in the headphones. It's funny you say that because I think growing up in my own, when I used to live with my parent from home to home, each house was like, household definitely showed that politic structure. As far as like at my pop's house, there's 5 boys.
Yeah, that's a lot of testosterone pumping through this
There's
shit.
5 boys, you know, and my pop's favorite phrase was "I am your father." Like that was his favorite, like one of his favorite things to say. Like, you listen to me because I'm your father. You do this because I'm your father. You do that, blah blah blah. Like some dad, some father, and it was just like, never really understood it. I mean, that might be the reason, but who knows?
I can guarantee you will become your father. When you are a child to someone, you think about how unfair and unjust things are and how you're going to do things different until you have your own. And there always hits a point to where you go, oh, this is why he did it. You know what I'm saying? Like when you have a child running through your house, breaking shit that you worked hard for, eating all your motherfucking food that you gotta buy, really having... It is very hard for a child to appreciate what sacrifices you make as a parent because they don't know what that sacrifice is yet. Like, they don't know the 9 to 5. They don't know the pressure of the responsibility. They don't know the choice to sacrifice in the struggle to raise and take care of kids. Like, you don't know that. You think, even the fact of, I pay for a house for you to live in. I pay for clothes for you to wear. I pay for food for you to eat. Just that on its own. What monumental thing that is. And what it takes to do that on a daily basis. And not only for one kid, but if you got multiple kids and you gotta do that. That's not even extra shit. Like some movies and some Jordans and a fucking iPhone and all of these other things. You know what I'm saying? Like, when my son be like, oh, Dad, you be tripping. I'm like, man, you want a fucking $70 goddamn Xbox game and you fucking pushing Fs. Can you at least, you know what I mean? In his mind, I'll get those better grades. Why can't you just give me the game? And it's like, I don't have to get you shit. I'm choosing to reward you when you achieve something. It's just like why kids don't understand why a parent is pressing you to do good in school. I tell my kids all the time, nigga, that's your school. I finished school. I finished college. This your life. I'm trying to press you to do good so that you will have a good life. What life you have don't affect me. I've done my shit. I'm at where I'm at. It is my job to make sure that you grow the fuck up and become a self-sustaining goddamn adult. You can't have fucking F's all through goddamn school. You'll be a fucking idiot. You gotta learn some shit. You gotta pay attention. If college is where you want to go for whatever the fuck you want to do, you're gonna need the grades to get there. Like, your only fucking job is to go to goddamn school, get good grades, and wash these fucking dishes in a bathroom every once in a while. You know what I'm saying? So once you have a kid and those, it's really good when they kind of young. It really starts getting fucked up when puberty starts hitting and these motherfuckers start feeling they little estrogen and they little titties or they testosterone and they little nuts and they want to feel like, I'm grown. I know something. If your retarded monkey ass don't get the fuck out of my face. I tell my son, nigga, you been on this planet 12 years. 12 years. That is a blink of an eye. I'm fucking 40. I've lived your life multiple times. Why do you think the bullshit you saying to me is more than what the fuck I already know? I know the end of what you think you're gonna do. You don't know that. You think the end of what the fuck you're saying is gonna produce this, but you don't know it because you haven't done it yet. I've done that shit a couple times and I can tell you, hey man, that's not gonna turn out so well for you.
Do you feel like as you aged and like grow older in life that your sense of time kind of changed? Like when
Nigga, I
versus
feel like
when,
I'm gonna die tomorrow. Like 40 was hard for me.
why 40? Why not like 35?
35 was kind of fucked up too. That's when I go, oh shit. Like my 20s are gone. There's 35. You know what? 35 is a different stage because 35 is old enough to get to respect as an adult, but young enough to still tramp around. You know what I'm saying? Like 35, people around you and even people who looked at you as a kid now kind of respect you as a solidified adult. But you still young enough to get out there and be doing your whole bag shit. And you know what I'm saying? Fucking around and shit. Once you hit 40, that's different. That's fuck that is really different. That fucked me up so bad. So bad.
Just the thought that you are 40?
Not just that.
Or
but
what
like,
came with it?
you know, I always thought it would be a feeling. Like I would get this feeling of like a click, like, oh, I'm no longer a kid, I'm grown. And since a teenager, I've been waiting to have that feeling and it never came. Cause nigga, I'll be adulting now and I'll be like, man, this some real fucking adult shit I'm caught up in. And in my mind, I gotta go, oh, nigga, I'm not in my 20s.
You're 4.
I'm 40. You know what I'm saying? Like when I'm dealing with a young chick, like there are times in my mind, like when I'm looking at her back, when I'm smashing, going, yo, man, I'm twice this bitch's age. What the fuck am I doing? And now I have an inner conflict of, wow, I don't know how I should feel right now. When I get done smashing, I think I'm gonna have to think about this a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's different. It's so different.
You think you're ever gonna have that, oh, I'm grown now feeling?
I am now.
Now it.
Yo, I hadn't been to a doctor in a long time. You know what I mean? I hadn't had like a physical in over 15 years.
Oh, wow.
I just didn't fuck with the doctors. Like, I've been to the dentist and shit like that. And I've gotten sick and went to the hospital, but like, getting a blood panel done and, you know, actual like complete diagnosis. Yeah, no. But with moving out here and being so far away from any friends and family and almost dying that first year when I had that fucking infection, I had to have surgery in my throat. I was like, oh shit, like I'm 40, I could just die. And then too, like when you guys see like, oh, this actor and that musician died and they were like 50 and 60 and 45, it doesn't hit you like it hits somebody like my age. Like when I see like, oh, such and such died at 43, I'm like, God damn, that's 3 years away. Fuck. Like it really puts you closer to your mortality. You know what I'm saying? Like most white dudes at this time start going through like midlife crises and shit. You know, I think for me, it's more of what makes me the most happy. What am I doing with my life? You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm only lucky because for probably 90% of my life, I've only really done what makes me happy. So it was kind of a little more easier to fall back into that. But nigga, like being a diabetic, like going through this checkup and getting my blood and then having the doctor be like, oh, you're a type 2 diabetic and we're going to put you on the pill and insulin. I'm like, oh, can you slow up the words that are coming out of your mouth? Because I'm not really catching none of this. I need to let this shit sink in, right? The other day I went and sat and talked to my doctor because the beginning of this year I was 455. February 14th I was 420. A couple of days ago I was 417. So I've been dropping weight consistently since a little before the beginning of the year. And I had to sit there and talk to my doctor about I'm not ready to not be fat. Like I've been holding on to this fat for the last 6-7 years in comfort. You know what I'm saying? Like it has sheltered me from the world and it has sheltered me from the life I used to have. I don't know if I'm mentally able to be fit again. You know what I mean? Like fat has kept my ego in check. You know, once you fat, I can't smash the chicks I used to smash. They look at me like, this fat nigga, what is you looking at? You know what I mean? Like your face gets swole, skin change. You know what I mean? So the world wasn't as open to me as it used to be. Like people started telling me no and all that type shit. There was a time and nobody ever told me no. That just wasn't something that happened. Like I mean, there was a time to where like I was never rejected. Junior high, high school, 20s, I didn't get rejected by anybody. If I talked to a fucking woman, it just was mine. That's just the way it was. And then being married and sitting behind a desk and eating wrong and putting on the weight, I really started to notice how people treated me, how like, just my intelligence too. I have a functional IQ of 169. For somebody to question my intellect and my ability fucked with me deeply. So I went through a lot of changes with my inner personality and shit, right? And to think that now I have a fucking disease of fucking diabetes to where I have to become smaller. I have to drop the weight. Like that's not really an option or a choice.
You don't think that's gonna be like a freeing feeling though? Like you're saying, because I feel like you're kind of saying like you're scared of it.
Jaws free in the ocean. Jaws may sit in that little tank and be like, oh, if you let me out, I'm not gonna eat people no more. As soon as you let Jaws, that big ass great white, out into the ocean, he eating people.
So you're holding in Jaws right now.
I don't know. I don't know if I'm hoping that I have matured and grown enough to where when I drop the weight and I'm fit again, that I don't revert to that old behavior. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I don't know if I'm strong enough for that.
You won't know until you find out.
So, I'll be having to talk to the therapist about that shit. I don't know what to do about that.
But that is interesting because gaining weight, it does kind of like change your mindset and your perspective on things. Because I remember when I was in high school, I had gained like 50 pounds from like sophomore to junior year. And I didn't even really notice until I was trying on some summer clothes and I was like, God damn, I can't even button this shit. And then that whole junior, like the summer before junior year and then that whole school year, I wasn't talking to people. I was just going to school. I was doing good in school, but I just wasn't socializing as much as I was. And I felt like I was always like a loud, like friendly, everybody get along with me type person. And then when I gained all the weight, I was like more quiet, not as social, not as like cracking jokes and all that. And then when I started working out, you don't even really, like, it took time for me to like, even when I lost the weight and I looked good, or to myself I felt like I looked good, at that time you had to kind of recognize, okay, you changed, and now you can change your mind too, because I was so in the routine of like going to the gym, eating this, eating that, going to the gym, eating that, going to the gym, going to sleep, like just this routine. I wasn't even really paying attention to like, okay, Tiffany, now you can change your mindset. You feel more comfortable. And so even after I lost the weight, it took me time to be like, bitch, you're the shit now. Like,
See that, like that. Okay, so like I'm talking to somebody right now that I really like, right? Mm-hmm. And really kind of sparked something in me, and I kind of talked to her about this a little bit, but I really didn't get too deep into it. And then, like, I think about her and I think about the way I feel about her. I kind of know I'm probably going to fall in love with her. Mm-hmm. And that's what makes me scared of, like, can I maintain who I am now if I go back to an older body?
Yeah.
What I used to have before the titties and belly. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's kind of scary because it's like when I look at what I do now, with the size I am now, that's a little. Because I mean, there are times now I gotta be like, oh, nigga, you going too fast. Like, you need to slow up. Like, I moved here May 2017, and oh, wait a minute, let me. So since May 2017, I've had 35 partners since I've been here. And it is scary to think I've only had 35 partners because I'm unattractive to a large population. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
What happens when I'm no longer unattractive to this other part of the population? Mm-hmm. Can I slow down? Can I? Because even that, like when you're young and you can still count all your partners on one hand, you don't really calculate what you're going to think and feel like when you have kind of like surpassed two hands and then surpassed both your feet. And you're in like, 30s and 40s and 56 partners and 60 partners, and you're hitting 30 and you're hitting 35 and you're hitting 40. how that begins to feel. Like, the girl I like now, like I say to her all the time, like, oh, I'm a virgin. Like, she thinks I'm joking, but she doesn't realize how much I wish. Like, I really wish I was a virgin. Like, I wish I could erase all of these partners. You know what I'm saying? And even that kind of like self-esteem shit comes out with my kids, because I tell them, oh, you're not a virgin. Yeah, I gave birth to you myself. You were born of immaculate conception from a father. That's how that worked. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I be kind of joking, but at the same time, it's like, nah, man, I really do wish, like, I could erase at least a good 99% of all of that, you know. So that does kind of frighten me, because I don't know, maybe the older I get, I think the more conservative I'm getting. You know what I'm saying? Like, I be wanting to cuddle and shit and have a conversation.
It's not that weird. I do that.
Yeah, but I wasn't used to that shit.
What, in Cali, or?
Yeah, like, I don't know, women back home are a little different. You know what I'm saying? Like, you get done smashing, they be like, I gotta be to work in the morning, you need to go.
I mean,
you need to be gone before my kids wake up. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I think that's a group of people, though, because I feel like I've witnessed that before. Like, some women are like, your time is up here. It's time for you to get home. Like, or, how you getting home? That's always the good one.
Well, like here, a lot of women are still like relationship, married, family minded. Like when you out here in the dating world, they be on some want to know how you feel about marriage and having kids and all that shit, where a lot of women back home are career women. You know what I'm saying? If they already have 1 or 2 kids, they don't want to hear the word kid come out your mouth. They are fully established in careers, and they don't really have time for your bullshit.
How do you
shenanigans?
How do you identify those women? You personally?
Usually they cut through the bullshit. Like when you go, hey, excuse me, what's your... They go, oh, all right, look, let me see your phone. Here my number. Look, check this out. Hit me after 8. Before that, I'm busy. Like when they cut through the bullshit and just tell you, like, hey, yo, here's my number. Text me Friday. We'll try to hook it. Like, oh, what's your name? What's your name? My name Beth, motherfucker. Now I gotta go. And they off. They on the BART train, or they're fucking up the street, you know, downtown San Francisco. They're on lunch. They gotta get back to the building.
What if some do that, but like you don't? Like me, boy. I don't know what it is, boy, but I'm really bad at hints. Like today, I went on a business meeting, right? This is not even having to do with like trying to hit on a woman. This is like a business meeting with, I went on a business meeting with my business partner. We went out to go talk to this woman at this venue, and we were talking about how we wanted to do this and that with the venue and blah, blah, blah. And the whole time, I'm trying to like, kind of downplay the situation, but at the same time, I'm trying to be like, what's the word I'm looking for? Okay, basically, I'm trying to downplay the situation, and she's telling us like the numbers of the capacity of how many people can fit into the venue, right? And she's saying, oh yeah, like say for instance, I ended up finding out because my business partner explained it to me after we left, but he was like, bro, she said there's 260 people that can fit into this venue, but usually we like to have 300, right? To me, in my head, I completely missed that. That's basically, what he said to me is they wanted more people. Like, they wanted it to boom, right? And me, I don't know what the hell I was thinking at the moment, but I'm just like, it just completely just, whew. I just didn't even...
I mean, missing social cues and missing things like that, like, is really bad in business. Like, you kind of, because basically what she said, if the venue can hold 265 people and they like 300, not only are they calculating to go past capacity, they're more calculating on in and out traffic. So they're looking for about 200 people to be inside and about 100 people to kind of come and go and leave. You know what I mean? So you got to figure out what it is that you're doing, where you're going to be posted, because I'm assuming you're going to have a table, and if you're going to have enough inventory.
No, we're hosting the event.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
you definitely shouldn't have missed those numbers if you're hosting the event.
That's what I'm saying. Like, sometimes it just goes right over my head, and I just don't. I don't know what the hell.
But a lot of times that happens when you're so focused on achieving to win the conversation, to get what you want to get, that you're not receiving all the fucking information that's being said. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, you're really focused on the pitch and the delivery, and kind of articulating the mission of what you're trying to accomplish and what you think you're gonna do, and this and that, and somebody's giving you information and you're just like missing it. You know, you got to be able to shift that focus when they speak, and there's that break between you talking and now they're talking, to be fully paying attention to what they're saying.
So you think sometimes I don't be listening?
Nigga, take notes. Nigga, you got 2 phones. Click voice memo during a meeting. Catch everything.
That's crazy, because sometimes I be feeling like I be listening. Like I literally silence out everything. I'm like, I hear every word you're saying, but apparently it's not registering.
Listening and active listening is totally different.
Totally different.
One of the fucked up things, well, you know how like superheroes, they usually get their superpowers through some like traumatic event. Coming from the hood, there's a certain number of us that go through trauma and we become hypervigilant, right? Hypervigilance is when I walk into a room, not only do I assess the whole entire physical room, the layout, the tables, the desks, what's on them, name tags, name plates, exits, outer doors, perimeter, security guard, offices. I'm also taking in everybody that's in the room, what they look like, what they're wearing, what they're doing, the person that's standing in front of me that I'm with or that's talking to me. Being hypervigilant is being able to take in all this fucking information and process it really quickly. And that's developed through like trauma, like when survival is most needed. You need to be able to assess a room when you walk into it. It happens to like little kids who have like very abusive parents or alcoholic or drug addicted parents. Like when they enter an environment, they need to know what the fuck is going on immediately for safety.
Yeah, I was gonna say
that superpower for me coped with all of the information that I take in as far as like strategy and tactics and shit. Is just how I move through the world. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't really know any other way to move through the world other than calculated planning, information, getting information.
That's where I don't know. That's where I'm kind of confused at then about the topic, because it's like when I walk into any place, I could like leave. I could walk into a place, leave, and talk to the person that I'm with, and then they'll ask me questions. Like, I'll have them ask me questions like, well, what was this, or where was that, or
you forget who was there.
No, I'm saying like I could remember I could remember how that shit was placed 65 degrees this way, that shit was this way, and that shit was that way. Like, I could remember every single thing.
Physical thing, but you forget the people.
Some names. Sometimes I could forget names. I'm more better with faces. Like, I can remember, like, all right, that person had a red coat on, that person had this and that, they was doing this, but then like the active, the words sometimes just don't, like, if you demonstrate something to me, I can remember the demonstration. If you said it to me, there's the likelihood of me like actually remembering it is much lower. Yeah. Much lower. What do you think that was? Is that the same thing, or what?
I don't know. Like, my bad memory, I blame on getting old or whatever. But to be honest, I have a bad memory because my memory works on stage of importance. if I feel like people are irrelevant or not important, whatever, what you look like, what you said doesn't resonate, it doesn't stick. You could have just as well as not been there. You know what I'm saying? If something happens, if I see something, if I catch a body language or something like that, and I deem it important, then I'll remember you. But background shit, whatever. Yeah. And then too, I've had significant brain head trauma, so I know that plays a part in it too. So more so less the crazy shit. Like I just really don't give a shit.
So I mean, but you also said like as far as surveying that information physically, but then when a person's talking, it's not the same. You didn't really touch on like what is that?
Well,
what's your opinion of?
Everybody's different. It's the same way of learning.
Yeah.
Some people learn visually. Some people, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
What I suggest to people is when you know how you learn, you need to work through that, right? You need to spend time and focus on that and make that a more elevated skill. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody who goes blind, they have to rely on their ears, sound much more than they did when they could see. So you have to spend time working on that, paying attention to sounds, depth of sound, solid, hollow, all of that type shit. If you know like you're a visual learner, then when you enter an environment, you need to start working on that. How to catalog things visually, how to connect information visually so that you remember it.
It's kind of funny too though, because it's like, say for instance, I did a shoot the other day, right? And usually, unless I say the person's name 1,000 times, I probably won't remember their name, right?
Yeah.
But like, when you say like the level of importance, like I remembered the stylist, the photographer, I remembered that person's name, the executive producer, that person's name was definitely noted. The person who was making the food, kind of remember if I see their face. But like the people that wasn't like necessarily involved but was still standing there, or like the people who was like just like kind of helping out in the background but again wasn't engaging with me personally.
Yeah.
I don't know who you are.
But then too, like I said, you're still at an age to where you can assess these things and really turn them around and work on them. You know what I mean? Like, in my personal opinion, like your early 20s are really about crafting yourself into who you're gonna be. You know what I mean? Like, from birth to about 18, you're given all this information, you're given all these images, you're given all of these examples, people around you and all of that. You have experienced certain things, you got some likes and dislikes, and those 20s is really time to kind of weed through shit. Figure out what your character is, which way you going, who you're gonna be, what you really stand for, and all that type shit. You know what I mean? It just...
Okay. Going back to that, I kind of missed out a little bit, zoned out for a second when y'all was talking about like self-esteem and like y'all was basically talking about self-esteem is the general statement or the general idea. But for me personally, like growing up, how can I say this? Growing up, I was always told by like my mom, you're a handsome young boy, or I was always told by like maybe a lady that I was involved with, if somehow we got like connected, but I wasn't really, because y'all talked about like weight and like self-esteem, but it's also like I have people or I have women who sometimes like would not tell me they wouldn't talk to me because they had already thought I had a good girlfriend.
Yeah.
And I mean, that necessarily it doesn't have to do with the self-esteem. That just is like a side note of, because I remember you were saying something like, oh, I was, once you get to this weight or something, then you have people that you have people that don't deal with you or whatever the case is. But I don't really.
But see, this is the thing. When I was 20, nigga, I was as pretty as you. Do you think at your age, I thought I would look like I look now? No. I couldn't imagine. I remember when I looked in the mirror and I first realized, oh, nigga, I got titties. How much of a mental fucking fuck that was for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, you really can't foresee what you will look like, what you will be, how your metabolism will be. You know what I'm saying? What life is gonna hand you. You know, I never saw myself really sitting behind a desk 10 hours a day. Being able to grab like a fucking Wendy's or McDonald's fucking lunch, heading back to my, you know what I mean? Like, I just didn't calculate that when I was young. That's the thing about being young. It is very hard for you to foresee things you've never experienced, to factor those things in, you know, to factor in what having kids will do to you, even as a dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, having to be home every day, like working home to fucking take care of your kids and what that does to you. Like, imagine you hitting a life to where, nigga, you can't even get an hour to get to the gym once a week. How will your body handle that? How will you look if you are 100 pounds heavier? It is very hard for you to factor that in. You know what I'm saying? So it is a very jarring thing when life has been a certain way and then all of a sudden it just isn't. You know, when you're young and you're fit and you're attractive, doors are open for you much more easy. People give you credit automatically. You know, it's easier. As you get fatter, there is a disdain people begin to treat you with.
Do you think there's pretty privilege?
Absolutely.
Me and Young D have talked about this a lot.
You want to know real pretty privilege? For over a year, I didn't wipe my own ass.
Oh, yeah. I remember you told this to us.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
that is some...
You should see his face, y'all.
To go from a lifestyle where women will go, I'll suck all dick. I'll suck dick all day for you. I'll do whatever for you. To, I'm not into big guys. That's drastic. Drastic.
Were you ever in like a point of denial where you were like going through this trend, like you were realizing what you have, and you started making up excuses and it's not that bad.
It's tripping.
It
you know,
ain't
shit
that
like
bad.
that. Yeah. Like, definitely. The denial is strong. You know, it because this is what happens too. If you gained 150 pounds in the next 2-3 years, in your mind, you would still look like this. It takes a while for how you see yourself in your mind to catch up with your body now.
That is very true.
No, I believe that because my goddad he had lipo, and this dude, he would still do shit like for like at least a year. He would still do shit like he was big, and like he would like it was a point in time where he couldn't like tie his shoe because he was so big. But then when he lost weight and he could easily tie his shoe, but he would always complain like, oh, so-and-so, you need to tie my shoe. Like, I don't need to tie your shoe anymore, fool.
Yeah,
Like,
it takes
what
a
you
minute to
talking
catch
about?
up.
That's true, and it goes the other way too when, or actually no, that's exactly what happened
Yeah,
to
when
me.
you lose weight, you still feel big.
Yeah.
I had a mind fuck the other day. I was walking and I looked down at my shadow, and then there was this heavy conflict between the figure of my shadow and like my body, plus the conflict of knowing like I'm stuck in between this shit. Like I'm looking at my shadow and it is a body frame that I used to be, to being able to see the front of me as I look at my shadow to see what I am now, to walking into this doctor's office realizing I have to go back to the frame that the shadow is. I almost started crying. Like it was such a heavy emotional moment. Mm-hmm. And then it got worse when I went into the doctor's office and I got on the scale and I was like 5 pounds lighter than the last week when I went in. You know what I mean? Like it just, it fucked with me. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And I don't know. And this was funny. This was really a trip. I've always been attracted to big women. That's always been where my attraction was at. Big women more than anybody don't like to fuck with big niggas. They always say some shit like, oh, I'm big, you big, how we gon'? No, it's just that a skinny nigga validates some worth in you. That's really what it is. It's, you already have this self-esteem shit with your own weight. And you feel like being with a big person would cause more attention and eyes on you. So when I was smaller, it wasn't a fat chick that would ever tell me no. Ever. Even though, yeah, I still fucked with dimes, but you know what I'm saying? To where like gaining weight and then a fat chick look at you like she ain't fat. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a mind fuck. Bitch, do you realize like you 275? Like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? Like, come on now, like, what the fuck? And then thinking about even like the partner thing. Like, even when my marriage ended and I became single again, there was a time of splurging, I guess you would say. You know, you getting back out, you dating, you one-offs and all of this shit. I don't know if I could bypass the splurging when I go back down. Because Hulk at work, he been trying to get me in the gym to train me for like 6 months. And I've been really pushing back on that because as soon as I lift weights, it just drops the fuck off. You know, like muscle memory, right? Because I was so muscular, a month, 2 months of lifting weights, fucking weights start dropping off and all that shit, and I'm like, yeah, I can't see me not splurging. And I'm in a new state and area, I might splurge a little bit. And then that's a moral conflict because I'm really not okay with the amount of partners I've already had. So I'm trying to foresee like that depressive moment when I look back and go, damn, I just had like 50, 60 partners in the last 3-4 months, and how I'm gonna feel after that. Alright. Yeah, man. It's emotional.
Speaking of emotion, I was talking to a good friend of mine the other day. We were talking about, the topic of discussion was about how, basically I was telling him I seen my pops cry one time, right? I seen him only cry one time. It was one, I came home from, I think it was school or like after school programming or something like that. I basically came home, he was in his room with his door closed and it locked. And he was in his room and he was making noise. And I'm like, what the hell's going on in here? It wasn't like I heard like a woman or anything else like that. So I knew he was by himself. Like, I don't hear no like porn or nothing. So he ain't like going hard or anything like that. I'm like, what the hell is this dude doing in here? Little did you know, I was able to get into the room. And when I got into the room, he was crying. And I'm like, why? I basically asked my friend, why do men in particular feel the need to have to cry in private? Like, why do not, like, you? I remember like once before, I even like, it was times where I felt like I had to cry, like I was like at a restaurant or wherever the hell I was at. And I literally held it in, went through my whole day, waited till I got home. And then when I got home, I just sat down on my couch and I was just like, and just start crying. All right? Why is that?
I mean, it's part of masculinity. It's part of
Society.
yeah. You know what I mean? Like, you got to think. We are not that far removed from hunting and gathering. In time, it may seem like, oh, that shit was so far ago. It wasn't. It wasn't that long ago. I don't think human beings have genetically and biologically evolved enough to catch up to where, as a society, we think we should be, right? Like, women will say, oh, I want a sensitive man and da-da-da-da. But how many women still look at their man the same after he get knocked the fuck out? There is a change. Usually that change is like a subconscious thing. Now she feels unsafe. She feels like you can't protect her. So there's this kind of automatic, change in the way that she looks at you. Or when a woman sees you cry, even though they may accept you crying, there is they are watching you. What are you gonna do now? How are you gonna handle this? You know what I'm saying? I don't give a shit how progressive people think we are when it comes to stereotypical cis relationships, like a straight man, straight woman. A lot of times that woman is still looking to you for strength. If you break, that's a problem. It creates uncertainty, it creates instability, like the feeling of unstable. I cry every night. It's part of my meditative process of release. But there was a time I wouldn't drop a tear. You know what I mean? Like, I remember a lot of the things I went through as a child and as a teenager, to where I should have broke, but I didn't. And a part of that was just the belief I couldn't. Like, I can't break. I can't waver. You know what I'm saying? But that becomes unhealthy. Because I know for damn sure there is a lot of people that have been hurt by me because I didn't just cry. So I built up anger, aggressiveness, and all these different negative, abrasive emotions that come out in public. You know what I'm saying? And being from the hood and being in the game, it's not hard to let that shit out. Some nigga gonna say something crazy, some nigga gonna look funny. It's where that whole, nigga, you stepped on my shoe, or nigga, watch where you going. It's that spark. Like on the Boondocks, it's a nigga moment. Because I have all this pent up emotion and aggression, when I have a nigga moment, I'm gonna go hard in that moment. And 9 times out of 10, if this nigga moment happens in the hood, this other motherfucker is gonna have just as much pent up sadness, anger, depression, and aggression locked up in them as I got me. And that's a volatile situation. Because soon as one of us is like, nigga, what? I can't tell you how many times I done seen shootouts over the word what. What? What? Well, nigga, what? About 4 or 5 whats, it's a problem. No shit, like, 2 motherfuckers say what to each other, 6 at the max, it's a fucking problem. All that shit is just aggression. Your booty itch?
No, I'm
You been
just
scratching your ass for 20 minutes.
No, I'm not scratching my ass. It's just I'm like getting sweaty. It's like I'm hot.
There's baby wipes in the bathroom.
No, it's not like it's just it's not that bad. It really ain't. I'm just uncomfortable. It's all, but it's fine.
You can sit on the pillow. You want to sit on the pillow?
No, it's okay. We've brought too much attention to it now.
Speaking of baby wipes, I ain't talking to no women who don't carry baby wipes in their purse. I had a poop earlier today, man. Man, it was like...
Nigga, do you carry baby wipes?
I carry baby wipes, yeah. That's what I'm trying to tell you. I had a poop earlier today, and I was like, man, I'm so glad I got these baby wipes. If I didn't, it would have been mass murder in here, boy. Like, the tissue probably stick to your butt and everything. I remember the days where I didn't carry baby wipes, and the tissue used to stick to the butt, right? Yeah, nah.
I personally have always used baby wipes. Always keep a bag of baby wipes in the bathroom. I keep a bag of baby wipes in my room. I keep a bag of baby wipes in the truck, so when I'm at work, they come with me. I'm a civilized nigga. I'm not just gonna rely on dry ass paper to clean boo-boo out my ass.
Make sure y'all get 2-ply, by the way.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't understand why people do that. You know, it don't make no sense.
It don't make no sense.
Oh, and on that topic, I think Young D would love to talk about how white people have a problem with washing their hands.
Oh man, listen.
All right, I'll tell you what. We're going to take a break, and then when we come back, we're going to talk about Caucasians and hygiene and dogs. We'll be right back.
Yeah.
And we are back from break. So, before we went on break, our next subject was to be, what was it, Caucasians and washing hands?
Go ahead, D.
D, you had a small rant that you wanted to do about that?
Yes, I did. Yes, I do. I mean, moral of the story is wash your damn hands. I don't get how any public bathroom I go to, right? Say, for instance, we're at the urinal, and I'm pissing. Guy next to me pissing. White guy. He done pissing. No. Let's just say I'm done pissing. Whoever's done pissing, either way, he just goes straight for the door. And I always have this, like, sometimes I don't do it, but most times I do. Excuse me, sir. You gonna wash your hands? And then they turn and look at me. And then they give me either this like really confused face, or they give me this that one fake like smile where you smile for half a second, like the
the white people smile when they just pull their lips and they're like,
you don't even show your teeth. You're just it's like a quick
little nod.
A little nod and keep pushing.
Yeah.
And then you touch the doorknob, and then you go by your day and touch all the other shit you touch. I've come more and more into my years, like grabbing everything with my shirt, grabbing shit like with my elbow, like trying to open doors with my elbows, looking like hella awkward. And it's kind of I mean, even that's one thing. And let's not talk about the endless times I done seen white people like in their cars where they thinking they're alone, or just
Picking their
the
nose.
bold ones that are down the street walking, they're picking their nose. And sometimes I even see some of them is left hand picker, but the right hand pickers really piss me off, because I know the right hand pickers shake your hand with the right hand. You know, that's just like that's normal handshake protocol. Wash your shits, man. I just.
Yo, man, fist bump everybody.
They say that
But then-
fist bumping is, much less transfer of bacteria. So Howie Mandel, he's onto something.
Some people take that as like disrespect, though. Yeah.
Well,
In
that's
the
too
business world.
In the business world, yeah. What about the business world? You a fist bump a business owner?
bad. Yeah.
Swine.
I mean, they would do
Allergic.
it if it was Howie Mandel. Let's be real.
Yeah.
They would do it if it was a celebrity.
This is the thing, too, man. I kind of walk through the world as this is my movie, and I'm the star of it. And I expect people more to come to my side than me to go to their side. If I stick out my fist and bump it, you're going to do it. And what would you call that? Size privilege? Most men are not going to object to that because they're usually quite a bit significantly smaller than I am and shorter than I am. And when they look up at me and they look at this massive fist that I stick out, they just want to touch it and get on.
Go about the day. I feel like as a white person looking at other white people, mostly it's like I like to differentiate myself from the Americans that grew up here, just because I don't really feel like a strong connection with America. I feel like I just live here and I was born here, but I do feel like I'm Hungarian just living in America. And when the other day, this is like the grossest thing I seen. It was this old grandma, and she had ground beef. This white lady, she had raw ground beef, and she flattened it out into a patty. She put a couple onions on it and salt and pepper, and then put another ground beef slice on it, and she fucking ate that shit raw. I feel like that's like I feel like I would only see white people do some nasty shit like that, like when they be kissing their dogs.
Well, that's like steak
And,
tartare. Like tartare is raw.
I know, but the way she just out the plastic little thing and it didn't look sanitary to me. And when they be licking the dogs and they be kissing in the mouth and
How do y'all
stuff.
feel about having dogs at the restaurants?
No.
What do you mean, the guests bring their dogs?
Yeah, and I'm not talking service dogs. I'm talking regular dog laying down.
I don't want your service dog in the fucking restaurant. If you are that psychologically impaired to where you need this animal to
Uber
accompany
Eats.
you, maybe, Uber Eats, maybe a public restaurant isn't somewhere you should go. If you're afraid of heights, don't get on a fucking roller coaster.
But then they're gonna say, "Oh, how can you restrict me like that just because I have a service dog? I'm entitled to go there too."
It's a filthy animal. It's an animal. It's not a human.
I mean, when I used to work at the mall, they used to train the service dogs in the mall and stuff, and the service dog just took a fat shit in the middle of the mall, like two of them.
Yeah, it's just.
And
an
then
animal.
they just wipe it up with the paper towels and they just go about their day, and I'm like, damn, just the paper towel? No Lysol wipes?
I'm not good with that.
Yeah.
I'm not good with that. Walking
Yeah.
outside with your bare
But
feet.
I feel like if you go back in history, I'm pretty sure historically, Europeans were the last ones to learn about hygiene. I feel like they were nasty.
Hold on. That's a historical fact. The fact is, you cannot trace any plague to any group of people outside of Europe.
Or them giving it to other.
Yeah.
other
Plus,
tribes and stuff.
we all know historically Europeans didn't have hygiene like soap until the
They didn't
Moors
know.
came into Europe and taught them how to make soap.
Did you say the Moors?
Yes, the Moors.
You know, my last name is Moore, M-O-R. But, you know, I've never, like, attempted to trace that to anything.
Well, Moors were Africans that came up out of northern Africa and they conquered Italy and part of Europe.
I thought they were Spanish. They were African American. Or, I mean, they were Africans?
Africans.
Oh, I thought they were Spanish this whole time.
No, they conquered Spain.
Oh, you're right.
Spain, Italy, Portugal.
You're right.
Another part of Europe from like the 1600s to the 1700s. They taught Europeans how to make corrals and barns, because before then Europeans had farm animals in their house. They lived with them. Pigs, chickens, cows. When the Moors came in, they separated. But this is how like the Black Plague and the bubonic plague and all these plagues that ravaged Europe happened, was because you are too closely living with a wild animal. You know
I think the bubonic plague started with rats, didn't it?
Yeah.
Started with rats.
Because no aqueducts.
The shit was just rolling down the side of the road.
So I had this conversation with my brother not too long ago. Actually, it's funny. But his argument, the reason why we were kind of like going back and forth about it, was because we were in the gym and we were working out, and there was this white fella in there, and he was stinking up the entire gym.
God.
Because of his hygiene. I don't know if it was deodorant, I don't know what it was, but he was basically saying not everybody was raised the same. Now, my thing with that was, yes, I understand that, but there are also, and he even went as far as to say, like, some people, like, that's what they do. Like, you know, you hear about like some
those like naturalists.
Yeah,
where they're like, I
naturalists.
don't need deodorant. It's toxic.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just eat fruit and make my body odor smell better.
Now, see that thing, like, you've been around me pretty much. You've been around me. Have you ever smelt me?
No.
I'm a big guy, 400 pounds. I haven't worn deodorant in 20 years.
Really?
I do not wear deodorant. But as a black person, I fuck with them oils, man. I fuck with them body oils. The body oils have changed the chemical composition of the smell of my sweat. You know what I mean? I don't know how it does it, but it does it. You know what I'm saying? There are times where, like, but then too, like, the oils seep into your skin, seep into your pores, because the base of body oils is a natural moisturizer, right? So when I sweat, the body oils that I wear come out. You know what I mean? So, like, I'll have, like, some Blue Magic or something like that, or some Egyptian musk or Kush body oil, and when I sweat, it'll come out. A lot of people, especially, like, in the Northwest, like the white folks from here who are, like, hippie naturalists and shit, instead of doing any, like, skin preparation or skin maintenance, they rub crystals under their arms. Why you think that's gonna do something, I don't know. Or like the salt, there's like this little salt crystal that they rub under their arms, but you still stink.
You know, I don't understand the whole, like, I can't even call it like a fetishism, but like the like how they're so fascinated by like crystals and stuff.
Because they're pretty.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, it comes from the earth. The earth created it. It has like powers. Like, it's a rock.
Check this out.
It is a rock, man.
This is the thing, right? I understand where they come from. Everything has a frequency and all of this and that, right?
Yeah.
Now, if crystals resonated with frequencies to do what you think they do, whether it's quartz, amethyst, or whatever, they are trillions upon trillions upon trillions of crystals in the ground. So even if you said each crystal had a radius of 5 feet, right? Whatever. that it can react and affect within this 5-10 feet radius. With the amount of crystals that are above ground and in shops and people own, and the amount of crystals that are still in the ground, the whole earth would be wrapped in the frequency of all of these crystals all the time.
Science.
So you buying a crystal for $100 and holding your hand would be irrelevant. It would be worthless. You would not never ever need to buy, even if you believe that they did something, you wouldn't need to buy them. They're in the earth, magnetic field, this frequency. The whole earth would be enwrapped in the power of these crystals. So no, I don't want to buy your crystal for $80. I don't really give a shit what you think it does, because if it does it or not, I don't need to give a shit, because if it does, it's just going to be automatic. I'm going to automatically reap the benefits of whatever the fuck this crystal does. So I definitely don't need to buy it or wear it or put it in my house. It looks pretty. I give you that. But you can't come, like, people who believe in like Reiki healing and crystals and shit like that, you can't give them that kind of mathematical, they
gonna get pissed off. They gonna get pissed off.
No. When I start wearing my crystal, my life, blah, 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 blah.
Ma'am, have you ever heard of a placebo effect?
Not just that, but it's the law of averages. If you walk around with a fucking positive attitude all day, most of your day is going to be positive. That's just the way the fuck it is.
I agree.
So,
what's the, just before we get off that topic, what advice, because we're saying, all these negatives, blah, blah, blah. What positive advice can we give back and say, for me, I would say, drink a lot of water.
Yeah, water is great.
Water. Wash thoroughly. Scrub those armpits. Don't have that leftover deodorant crust on your armpits.
Oh, wait a minute. I do want to say this, because a lot of these people that don't wear deodorant, these hippy-dippy people, they don't like to fucking shave. Okay. I don't give a fuck what hairy armpit feminists say about shaving being for the gaze of the man and a part of the patriarchy. The fact is, hygiene shaving, your fucking armpits, your legs, your fucking hooch, this is a part of a social contract. Social contracts are made when socially we agree, I do this, you do that. You do this, I do this. The social agreement for women to shave entitles you to certain male things. Like, you shave your pussy, you shave your armpits, you shave your body. It entitles men to pretty much owe you some shit.
What do you mean by that? Like, are you saying most men prefer to have a shave?
I'm not gonna say that, because there's men that like bushes and hairy fucking women, and that's cool. But for the most part, a man doesn't want to rub on a woman and feel like he's rubbing on a bear. You know what I mean? Like, or rubbing on another dude. That's not. I dated a woman who didn't shave her coochie, right? And I told her, because you don't shave your coochie, you give me the right to not have to eat your pussy at all. Like, part of the social contract is, if you keep up this hygiene and you keep this plate clean, it is my duty to eat that motherfucker like McDonald's. If you choose not to shave that motherfucker, you give me the option to justifiably opt out from eating that. Period.
I mean, I feel like that's a decision they gotta make when they're meeting you, because that's when they're gonna find out. So if they're like deep into the relationship and they're like not shaving their pussy, and you're not eating, I would agree with you.
Well, let's think about all the times that you gotta stop to take a hair out your mouth.
Yeah, look, a hair in the throat will fuck up a mood every time.
I'll agree with that. I mean, personally, as a woman, I don't mind a bush on a guy. I really don't care. if they shave or not, if they're bald or bushy, I don't care. But a hair in the mouth, it is quite annoying. I
As a
think we can
dude,
all agree on that.
I feel very
You gotta pause.
uncomfortable sticking a bush in a chick face. I feel like it's impolite. I want you to put this in your mouth. I need to make this as hygienical and clean and presentable as possible. To not do that, like, I don't get how dudes be having like musty balls, hella hair, and be like, "Oh, suck my dick."
Oh,
Like,
not
you
the
lost
musty
your fucking mind?
balls.
Social contract. You keep that shit nice, clean, and presentable. You put your mouth on it. You stop doing that, I don't have to do that. I don't have to do it. And you want to have like hairy ass armpits and shit. I get to tell you, hey, you know you musty as fuck. I don't have to do the whole act like I don't smell. My girl is like musty as fuck. I get to be like, you stink. You smell like trash.
I mean, the hair, it retains the smell. It grasps onto the sweat and stuff.
What about those who have like dreads
On the head,
on their head?
that's whatever. Dreads are clean.
Some people's dreads stink.
Okay. That person personally has bad hygiene.
You know, yeah. I know somebody.
Because the majority of people who have dreads, they wash their hair, they keep them clean, they keep them nice. You have a couple of people who don't generally have good hygiene, so they're not going to keep their hair together.
Do you think, like, for you personally, if a woman came to you and y'all hit it off, but she has poor hygiene, like, you got to tell her, girl, you got to take a shower today.
Yeah, you're done. You're done, son.
Is that a deal breaker for you?
It depends on how old she is.
Deal breaker.
Why does the age depend for you?
Because like when I was a man of leisure, when I was pimping back in the day,
Yeah.
there was a lot of girls I had to teach how to like douche and feminine hygiene and shit like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm 40. I come from the generation where women douche they box. A monkey wrench. That's what you call it. But you know, I had to teach them what the fuck FDS spray was, panty liners, and all of that shit because, you know, when I was like 15, 16, and the girls I'm fucking with 15, 16, 17, group home, shit like that, nobody ever taught them this shit.
I mean, that is true.
Your feet too.
Yeah,
Your
but
feet too, man.
I'll be goddamn, I put a woman on the blade and I ain't got her feet, nail, and hair and eyebrows done.
I'm just saying in general, like, if your shoes, bro, you know what I mean? I know it's like sometimes like, oh, you got your basketball shoes and then after basketball practice, oh, now your feet see. No, that's...
Well, there's an option to that.
Yeah, nah.
You don't, for me personally, you don't necessarily have to have your feet done because I don't necessarily want you taking your socks off. I don't like feet.
during
so you can
sex?
keep your period. I don't like feet at all.
You don't even want to see it?
No, you can keep your socks on forever. If you take your socks off,
you're not a toe sucking type of guy.
Damn, man, look.
Has a woman ever asked you to suck their toes?
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, nah. Or yeah.
And I usually respond.
And you said, fuck no.
I usually respond.
And the answer
Bitches, you
is, yeah,
stupid.
nah.
What?
I'm not.
Yo, and this is what's fucked up. Like a sister, nice pedicure, she'll have pretty feet. And be like, ooh, suck my toes. And you be like, nah, I'm good. I done fucked with a couple white chick. Bitch, you just came from outside, barefoot. Why? I don't even fucking want you walking on my carpet or going in my room with them bare feet. You're gonna ask me to suck your toes?
Damn sure
You're
not my
fucking
bed, boy.
disrespectful.
Change your clothes.
Yeah,
man.
I feel you on that.
Shower first.
You ever seen
bro.
a white woman get her own foot stuck up her own ass? It's not pretty. It's not pretty. It is physically possible.
All I'm saying is, man, take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Eat a lot of fruit, drink a lot of water.
Yeah. I feel like hygiene is a deal breaker for me.
Definitely.
And I'm just saying that because I know somebody who has a boyfriend right now who, when they first started off,
Wet wipes
and it's still like an issue for them, is that the guy,
in your purse
he has terrible hygiene.
Why is she fucking with
at
him?
all times.
I don't know. She likes him. He treats her well. But she has to tell him, boy, you got to get in the shower today. You haven't showered for like 2-3 days. Like, what's wrong with you? Your feet stink. She got to soak his feet in Epsom salt. She got to
soak his feet?
She got to put like lotion on him because he don't even be putting lotion after shower. He's like really ashy and all this, and she's willing to put up with it. And I'm just like, how does that?
What is the payback? What is the payoff?
Well, he supports her on part of the bills when she runs short. He makes up for it. Besides that, I guess, I mean, to what she told me, she said that he treats her better than any other guy has. He is just like a sweet guy. Like, she was just looking for like somebody who's sweet to her.
I can get that.
But
at the end of the day, but then too,
but
like,
the
I think it's very
hygiene, I can't tell you, please go wash your dick before I give you a blowjob. You should already know that.
If I was a woman and I got to tell you to wash your dick, you're never getting a blowjob.
Hell no.
It's
I
not
agree
gonna
with you.
happen.
Never. And I don't expect the same from a man. I make sure I'm always perfectly clean, like, before any of that would happen. That's just...
And I mean, like, I've dated women to come to find out, like, they're not the most hygienical. And I usually just be like, I'm sorry, but I'm no longer interested in pursuing anything romantic. It is you, it's not me. I just need you to know it's all you, and this is just not a match. So if you take a good self-assessment for a while before you jump back into the dating scene, I think you'll figure it out and handle that.
I mean, that's respectable.
This is very polite of you.
Yeah.
I try to be polite.
A lot of people just be ghosting and...
No.
Yeah, don't do the ghosting.
Yeah.
No, I'll tell you, like,
Communication's
I don't really
key.
like you. Like, we don't match. Like,
See, and that's fine. I think that's fine too. I mean, just kind of like a side topic since we're talking about communication. I think.
Nope. Next show. So everybody, we have hit an hour 20. We're gonna wrap up this show.
That'll do it.
I appreciate everybody for listening. With us coming back from this hiatus, we are back on schedule. We will be dropping this show every Monday morning. So stay tuned.
Y'all heard him.
And I'ma be singing again.
No, we're not doing that. Peace.
We